and welcome to the 7th episode of 18 or Older Reviews. Today's episode we're covering the film A Streetcar Named Desire. Now I know this was supposed to come out in August, but I got busy with college and I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to keep a monthly schedule with the workload I have right now, so I'm going to keep making videos, but they're not going to be every month. Sorry. If you want to keep following these types of reviews though, I do have a blog that I'm starting for a class, but I will be putting older movie reviews on there as well. I'll probably keep the same 18 or older moniker and theme, as well as reviewing newer movies that I have serious thoughts on. Also, if you want to keep following my filmic efforts through college, I am now a videographer for the OU Daily, a student-run news organization, so I've already started filming some videos for them, and I think that's going to be a really fun time. I'm enjoying it so far, so you should check that out as well. Now, let's get into the review.
Hey, shut up!
So, A Streetcar Named Desire is a 1951 film based on the Tennessee Williams play, and it was directed by Elia Kazan and starring Marlon Brando, Vivian Leigh, and Kim Hunter. This is widely regarded as a classic. It's one of the all-time greats. It's in, I'm sure, almost everybody's top 100 list or whatever, anywhere you look online. That's actually how I got the idea to do it for the show. And it's an interesting movie because it's not like other ones. It's based on a play, and so most of the plot all takes place in one house in like one particular room, and the dialogue, it's very dialogue driven. There's a lot of stage type directions. It's very much like if you were just to put a play to screen. So with that, I don't think I can talk about much else without getting into the pros and cons. I think everybody should check out this movie. It's a kind of a hallmark of cinema, as it were, even though some of my opinions might differ from some of the other critics, because, you know, I'm trying to look at this from a modern perspective, looking back on films that I haven't seen before. So, let's get into the pros and cons.
Hey, Stella!
Okay, pros. So first of all, this is based on a fantastic play of the same name, same general plot, I'm assuming. I haven't actually seen the play, but I've read other Tennessee Williams plays, and he is a fantastic playwright. He was a fantastic playwright, and this is no exception. The writing is really good. There's lots of instances where the dialogue is just so well performed that you kind of just forget that, you know, you almost forget that it's not like just a real thing that's happening, because the way they talk is kind of grandiose, but also the way that they're portraying it is more subtle, and it's more human, I guess, because this was kind of the first wave of method acting with Marlon Brando and everything. And along with that, the performances. Marlon Brando did a great job performing a, you know, spouse abuser. I don't think that's a spoiler because it's kind of like in the first 20 minutes, I would say. And then Vivian Leigh and Kim Hunter both do a great job playing sisters who haven't seen each other in a while. The relationship there I felt was really strong because they had that kind of familial annoyance, but also the familial love. So I'm not talking about spoilers, obviously, but the finale of the film was fantastic. I would say probably about the last 30 to 45 minutes, there's just a lot happening, and it all happens so fast, and all the dialogue is very poignant, and it really kind of just has this sense of finality to it. Like, it holds its stakes very well, which I think is good, and not a lot of modern films can pledge to that as much, like the sense of reality that I felt with the stakes and everything. And the music. I don't normally notice music in films, at least not on my first watch through, but I remember thinking at certain points during this film when I was watching it that there was just like a very strong resonance between the music and what was on screen, and I didn't think that was something that was done as much earlier on. It had its own unique score, which I thought was really nice. And obviously, most movies have a unique score, but this one just had something else to it that I really enjoyed.
Hey, Stella!
I'm gonna go with the runtime. This movie did not need to be 2 hours, 2.5 hours, however long it was. It felt longer than 2 hours. There were large chunks of it that probably could have been cut without losing any of the plot, hardly at all. There were some non sequiturs and some stuff that was probably in the original play that also didn't really need to be there. Also, the fact that everything is taking place over the same, setting over and over again, it kind of makes the audience feel confined, I would say, to one specific thing, which I normally like the types of movie where it's just, a couple people in a room and they're forced to deal with each other. But this one I don't think had a big enough cast and interesting enough, different enough dynamics between characters to warrant the 2-hour runtime or whatever it was. Right along with that was pacing. I felt like there was just a huge chunk in the middle where a lot of stuff didn't really flow fast enough and it didn't really get to any particular points. The beginning was really good and the end was really good, and the middle was just kind of expositional, which is weird. This is a weird complaint since I just talked about how good the actors' performances were, but I didn't like Marlon Brando's voice. I thought he had a really annoying voice. He kind of just talks like this and he slurred all his words together. And I guess when I was watching The Godfather, I thought that was a character thing, but I guess it's kind of just his voice, and then he does like little different things for each character. But it wasn't even so much that he was eating while he was talking. I thought that was more genuine, but he just kind of talks like this, and it just kind of was grating. I think eventually I got used to it and just kind of like, when you hear a high-pitched frequency, your brain just kind of shuts it off. I didn't like his voice, and I also didn't like Vivian's voice. She did too much of the, oh, well, I'm just a down-home country girl who's also high society kind of thing, and it was obnoxious, and I hope that wasn't her real voice. I'm sorry if it was, but I didn't really get that impression from her. I think that's it for cons, so now let's move on to my favorite part.
Hey, shut up!
So my favorite part comes near the end of the movie. I won't go into spoilers, mostly because I watched this movie like a week ago, and I don't remember exactly like the reasons the specific reasons that I like this, but towards the end of the movie, Blanche, Vivian Lee's character, and Marlon Brando's character have this kind of showdown where they're talking to each other and it's getting really heated, and just the way it was shot, the way that the music played and everything else was happening, I just really enjoyed that. There was some really good cinematography there, which I couldn't really say for the rest of the movie. Like, the shots were fine, but I didn't think any of it was extraordinary. So that's probably my favorite part. I mean, obviously there's the Stella scene, but everybody loves that for, obvious reasons.
Hey, Stella!
The themes of the movie, I would say, are evergreen, especially now that we're in kind of a, I don't want to say, like, sexual revolution, but we're in a place where, it's not being frowned upon as much anymore to be sexually active and everything, and one of the main characters in this movie is shunned for that, but I still think that that's an issue in society, and so I think that is a very omnipresent theme, and the same with, domestic abuse and working class issues and stuff like that. I feel like none of that's ever really going to go away, unfortunately, and this movie really encapsulated all of that and pointed out the good and bad things of that kind of lifestyle. But unfortunately, while the themes are consistent to now, I don't think that the language or the context was. They had a way of speaking in the time period this was talking about, 40s, 50s, that was just very different than what we're used to today. And I think that if you're going to show this movie to a modern audience, a lot of them probably wouldn't appreciate the message as much because of the way that it was being delivered through dialogue and the kind of, just environment that's there is not really one that's relevant as much today. And so I think that would cause, that's kind of what causes a loss of relevance as far as the plot is concerned.
Hey, stop!
So I think that's the end. This is a much quicker review because I don't have time to edit anymore. Between editing for the OU Daily, as I was talking about previously, and just other homework and hanging out with people and stuff, I don't have time to do 20-minute reviews, so this one's probably not going to be 20 minutes, which is good. I think that'll get more watch time. So like I said, if you are interested in seeing more reviews like this, I'm going to try to keep doing a video a month at least, just to stay on top of my game. But I'm also going to post blog reviews of movies like this and more modern movies. So I'll post links to all that stuff in the description, and I'll put it on my Instagram and Twitter and everything. I'll keep you guys informed. And I do want to keep filming video sketches and short films and all that kind of thing. It really just depends on my schedule. So if anything like that comes up, I will also let you guys know. So the next movie I will be doing a video review for is probably They Live. We're doing They Live because I want to. It's a movie that I'm interested in, that's an older movie, and I think it looks really interesting. So yeah, that'll be the next movie I do a video review for. Don't be surprised if I do some written reviews for other movies, and I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks for watching.
You don't ever leave me, baby.